This is philosophy of the life. This is not just business and economic development. This is philosophy of the countries, of the regions doing business together and growing together. Our panel is about economic zones, which means that first of all, we need to define what is economic zone, what is special economic zone, what is industrial zone, what is free zone, what is export processing free zone, what is touristic free zone, what is cross-border free zone. And if I will continue, you know how many types of special economic zones exist in the world? Please. How many types of special economic zone exist in the world? Many, many. How many? 10 types, okay. Who is waiting for more? 75 types. According to approved UN report, there are 75 types of the free zones that are operating in the earth. And do you know how many free zones in the world? It's more than 10,000, and they are operating very well. And until we are talking now, one free zone is opening, another free zone is closing, 2 free zones are joining, one of them is expanding its working, and we will try during this international panel to discover what is special economic zone and how they operate. It is my pleasure to invite for the short presentation that will last only 3 hours, just 3 hours and that's it, our friend and the expert of special economic zone, Dr. Dragan Kostić, that has a huge experience in developing, master designing, and managing free economic zones and industrial zones. He was in charge of doing export processing zone the best in the region. You know that he was general manager of Bureau Free Economic Zone. After that, he was working with Chamber of Commerce to develop doing business not only for the free zones and special economic zone, but in the countries and the region as well. Plus, he is my best friend in this region. Please welcome Dr. Dragan Kostić.
Thank you. Dobar dan svima. Stvarno mi je drago da smo uspjeli da prikupimo vas koji se stvarno zanimate i interesujete se i bavit ćete se slobodnim zonama, počevši od predstavnika ministarstava. Jedino tu imamo gospodina Kovuća naše reprezentacije koji nije iz ove oblasti, ali je godinama s nama u našoj komori, tako da i on mi mogao je da odgovara koliko ima zona, nije hteo. Pitat ćemo ga kasnije možda neko drugo pitanje. Hvala vam svima što ste ovde. Napravit ću kratku prezentaciju da bi uveo u temu, a treba da znate da danas imamo veoma respektabilne članove na panelu, ljude koji iz celog sveta, počevši od Kolumbije, Barcelone, Nika iz Jermenije, imamo iz Kazahstana, direktora slobodnih zona Kazahstana, imate veoma respektabilne govornike koji će ukazati na modern trenutak i kako treba da bude budućnost slobodnih zona u svetu, a nas naročito zanima Zapadni Balkan. Tako da, šta su slobodne zone? To je ono što otprilike 30% svetskog obrta u ovom trenutku prolazi kroz slobodne zone. 10.000 slobodnih zona po meni, neki misle da su malo manje, ali veliki broj tipova, tako da one su raspoređene svuda u svetu. Imate ovu beta mapu na internetu i možete vidjeti svaku od tih slobodnih zona po imenu. Kakav je posao rada u slobodnim zonama? Dozvoljena je proizvodnja, dozvoljena je trgovina, izgradnja objekata u granicama zone, veoma jeftini servisi, logistika kao jedan od ključnih delova. I koje su to pogodnosti? Pogodnosti su koje daje država, zakonom o slobodnim zonama, grad i integrisani servisi. PDV je 0 u granicama slobodnih zona, carinske dažbine su 0, ne plaćaju se veoma značajno niti carine, niti PDV, ne samo na robu, nego i na servise, što je veoma važno. Sav materijal koji je unešen za izgradnju objekata je oslobođen takođe. Veoma važno da su mašine i rezervni delovi, kada počnete da radite u granicama zone, takođe oslobođeni. Repromaterijali i veoma značajno što nemamo u Bosni i Hercegovini, a nadamo se da ćemo promeniti, a u Srbiji postoji i svuda u svetu, da se ne plaćaju PDV na energente. Veoma je važna pomoć svake opštine koja se pripremi da ima slobodne zone. Najbolje je bilo da opština oslobodi sve ono za što ona ima ingerenciju i omogući investiranje i povećanje uposlenosti u zonama. Servisi, svi servisi u samoj zoni koje treba da budu omogućeni, dok bi korisnici trebali da se bave samo svojim core biznisom, a sve ostalo bi trebalo da se pomogne tako što bi na jednom mestu imali integrisane i objedinjene servise. Kakva je sada ekonomska situacija i zašto smo se mi u stvari skupili da vidimo koji je najbolji model slobodnih zona? Svi znamo da u ovom trenutku imamo reforme koje potpuno na neki način menjaju ono što se do sada dešavalo, tako da ovaj roller coaster koji nam se priređuje sa tarifama je meni izbacilo jedan slajd koji sam hteo da stavim, koji bi trebao da bude aktuelan, zato što svako jutro se menjaju, kada se onaj koji ih menja probudi, on tog dana vjerojatno promeni malo tarife i carine, ali u svakom slučaju trend pojačanja carina se vraća na izvorne vrednosti slobodnih zona. Tako da će postati značajnije sada carinski tretman u granicama zona. Ali jedan od opasnosti koja je bila za zone je otpala, jer se nisu složili sa OECD-om reformama koje su trebale da uvedu 15% globalnu korporativni taksu u celom svetu, u svim zemljama, nezavisno da li postoje zone ili ne. Ispalo je da je odloženo ta primjena, iako je više od 150 država se složilo da se ovaj porez uvede. Tako da on više nije ta neka opasnost. Kriza globalnog snabdevanja, za koju svi znamo, izazvana različitim razlozima, uticalo je na to da su morske vozarine veoma poskupele, ali da se javljaju novi putevi koji se idu železnicom, tako da ćemo imati u sledećem periodu ćemo posmatrati jedan drugčiji način i druge cene transporta, naročito iz Kine. Ova kriza je uticala na smenjenje poslovanja američkih luka, u isto vreme je dovela do povećanja cena kontejnerskog transporta i dovodi cela ova stvar do pojave offshoringa, onshoringa, near i friendshoringa. Tako da ćemo sada posmatrati da su slobodne zone koje se formiraju na ovom prostoru, naročito kod nas na Zapadnom Balkanu, biti verovatno interesantne i bile tako da ćemo imati mogućnost da se delovi proizvodnje iz određenih zemalja sveta približavaju korisnicima Evropskoj uniji i formiraju kao posebne celine u slobodnim zonama u ovom kraju. Gde je tu mjesto novih slobodnih zona, kako one treba tome da se prilagode, to daje novu mogućnost slobodnim zonama. U isto vreme imamo da to utiče na povećanje rasta slobodnih zona u svetu, tako da u 2024. godini je bilo oko 600 projekata za više od 100 milijardi investicije u slobodnim zonama u svetu. Šta treba da radimo? bilo bi jako dobro sada strategiju završite vaše proizvode u slobodnoj zoni, približavanjem Evropskoj uniji, svi oni koji proizvode nešto moći će da organizuju da kada se završi proizvod u slobodnoj zoni dobije novu tarifnu oznaku sa poreklom države koja ima manje carina. To je jedna nova mogućnost za slobodne zone i za sve investitore i mi to treba da iskoristimo. Tako da treba doraditi proizvode i eksportovati sa nižim carinama koje zemlja daje. Kakva je situacija kod nas? Ovo 82 slobodne zone u Evropskoj uniji, možete vidjeti otprilike njihov raspored kakav je. Italija i Britanija imaju nove projekte, to je dosta značajno, neću uzimati puno vremena, ali u svakom slučaju su okrenuti istraživanju i petoj industrijskoj revoluciji. Ovo su sve organizacije koje podržavaju slobodne zone i više o tome će vam panelisti vjerojatno govoriti. Kako izgledaju slobodne zone u Bosni i Hercegovini? Toku su formiranje nekoliko slobodnih zona. Gradiška je u tome najdalje otišla. Trebinje je dobila jednu dozvolu, spremaju se Bjeljina, a u federaciji rade 4 zone, ne tako dobro, a i priprema se Bihać kao nova zona. Postoje 3 zakona, postoji ono što treba da menjamo, to sam već napomenuo, da bismo malo poboljšali zakonsku regulativu. Spomenuo sam slobodnu zonu Gradiška, računam da ćemo dobiti u toku svih ovih izlaganja malo više informacija o njoj. Priprema se slobodna zona Bihać, u pripremi je slobodna zona Bjeljina, slobodna zona Brod iskazala želju da napravi slobodnu zonu. Šta treba da urade zone u Bosni i Hercegovini? Treba da pripreme strateški plan i master plan svoga razvoja. To je ono što mi predviđamo. I otprilike govorimo o novom modelu. Ako na jednom prostoru imate nekoliko slobodnih zona, po zakonu koji sada važi, šta bi bio sljedeći korak? Trebalo bi razmišljati o cross-border slobodnim zonama, iskoristiti te mogućnosti tamo gde je to moguće i u budućnosti uvesti, normalno sve su tu sada sa svim ovim pogodnostima koje slobodna zona govori, a u budućnosti uvesti specijalnu ekonomsku zonu na jednom delu koja će dati dodatne poreske olakšice koje slobodne zone sada nemaju. To može da bude budućnost, a to su različiti državni podsticaji u njima. To je otprilike sve. Uz to normalno ide logistika, integrisani servisi i onda na jednom mestu dobijate sve pogodnosti i to je mesto gde investitori rado dolaze. Hvala.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kostic. It was a very nice presentation with short journey to the world of free zones that existing in the world and the suggestion how we can move to Bosnia and Herzegovina and debate how we can make free zones in this area much more better. For that reason, I am pleased to announce and invite to the stage our today's panelists. First of all, we have online our participant Erbol from Kazakhstan. He is responsible for regional office CIS for World Free Zone Organization. Erbol, welcome to the board. We cannot hear you. Organizers, we cannot hear him.
Hello.
Okay.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, it's a great honor for me to speak today at this prestigious Jahorina Economic Forum. First and foremost, allows me to express my sincere gratitude to the organizers and personally to our moderator, Ms. Nika Manukova, for their kind invitation and for the opportunity to share Central Asia's experience in developing free economic zones.
Thank you, Erbol.
Fostering a linkage between Europe and Asia and
Yeah, thank you very much for the introduction. Our next panelist is Andrea Ibarra. He is from Colombia. He's representing International Trade Center. Please take your place. We have our other panelist, Jorge Alberto Reyes de Vera. He is from Barcelona, and we will talk about also how he is in Barcelona and what he's doing in Barcelona. And the panelist from this area, our friend Alexander, and he is responsible. He was working with us more than 11 years, and we know each other from different projects. He's one of our best specialists in the area, our friend, and in the meantime, expert with high class level in the region. Please welcome our panelist. So, first question that I want to say, of course, free zone exists in the world and they will grow. Of course, there are several things that come on for them all. And of course, there is no one formula for developing free zone, even in one country. So what you suggest, especially this is free economic zone or industrial zone is better for the country, and especially if we talk about the Balkanian countries. Alexander, let's start with you.
Okay. Hello to everyone. Hello, Yerval. As Dragan concludes, 4 in 1. To have one combination of special economic zone with some parts of free zone, named for export processing, with logistics center inside, to offer all possible incentives to clients.
Excellent, Erbol. And can you add, please, is there any kind of such kind of industrial zone, special economic zone in Central Asia that you've ever seen, visit, or developed? Erbol? We cannot hear you.
Hello.
Okay, yep.
In Kazakhstan, we have special economic zones, and however, we have our rules. It's created special economic zones, not free trade or free zones. For that reason, we have a little problems with one of our special economic zones. They created between Kazakhstan and China, and the main idea was free trade zone. However, our rules are regulated just for special economic zones, it's not shared for free trade zones. So, but in Central Asia, there are 54 special economic zones. In Uzbekistan, for example, 24, in Kazakhstan, 15, and Tajikistan is 5, and Kyrgyzstan also 5 special economic zones. 3 weeks ago, I visited Turkmenistan. Turkmenistan government organized a huge international conference, and there we discussed about create special and free economic zones. And in Turkmenistan, they write the rules, but they don't create zones, special economic zones. However, in India, for example, first special economic zones was created in 1965, and but the rules was wrote just in 2005. But it's in India, special economic zones sharply developed nowadays. So like this.
Okay, thank you very much. And then I had a question maybe to our panelists, maybe Andres can help us. If we are setting up the free zone, especially if it's cross-border, it's understandable that trading should be there. But how we can protect, how we can show to society that we're transparent, how we can make the recognition working in this area?
Good morning. Thank you, Nika, and thank you, Mr. Dr. Kostik and Dr. Simonok for the invitation. I think there is a good example in the Dominican Republic when the business developers of free trade zones, they got united into an organization called Zona. And Zona was constantly sending the message of the 500,000 of employees, in which 53% are women, and showing to the society what is the contribution that free zones are making. So it's very important that the developers works in defending and showing into the public what is happening inside the free zones and what is the benefit that they're creating. Also, a second thing is that, for example, a free trade zone of Candelaria in Cartagena has created an organization, a foundation, and this foundation is helping the communities, vulnerable communities, in order to be able to have jobs inside the free trade zone. As well, Free Trade Zone of Bogota has a university, and that university focuses on understanding which are the needs for these companies, and it creates the education programs in order to make a view of integral prosperity. And I think it's quite a very important concept in nowadays, that of the integral prosperity that free trade zones needs to generate.
Thank you. So you think that creating job is a good thing to promote your free zone, but I totally disagree with you, because if I am an investor and I am developing free zone, I don't care about the job creation. I think about my money. I think of how I can gain money and how I can develop that area to earn more money. Okay.
Wait, yes. I will say this, and thank you, I like that. We have developed in Colombia 500 hectares of industrial parks and free trade zones in the last 30 years. And for us as business person, it is very important, the business, and that's why we're #1 in Colombia. But it's very important as well, the social impact that we're having in our country, in our cities.
Yeah, this is your social responsibility. This is your impact investment, working in free zones and having cross-border to bring new working places, especially to employ women in that area that will support to have education for their kids, and in the meantime develop the society. In this point, yes, I agree. So for us, it's important to have very high-level jobs there, to have new knowledge there, knowledge transfer there, and after that to bring new jobs. Again, Jorge, since you have experience starting from Latin America Free Zone Association Director, then you moved to Dubai, was membership director for World Free Zone Organization, and now in Barcelona you are one of the experts of EU developing and master planning free zones, and not only. What you see, what are the key development in area in Europe that is going on? Because as we see from the presentation of Dragan Kostic, EU and Italy are working on adapting onshoring free zones in the countries. How we can use this a possibility? What are the development? What is the niche you see that we can work on?
Thank you, Nika, and thank you for the organizers. Thank you for the people of Bosnia. You've been very kind and joyful to receive us here. Well, regarding Europe, I think we have to be, there is an American expression that says, wake up and smell the coffee. Mm-hmm. And I think we're past that moment with President Trump. Europe has to compete. I mean, the new policies and the new tariff that Dr. Kostic was explaining to us, this is just the beginning. I mean, President Trump assumed the presidency in January 20. It's been like 5-6 months. Yes, and his policy is straight. This is not about extending democracy and the rule of law. He has some ideas on this, but his priority is the economy, and it's straight. And we can see what is happening with Russia right now. He's talking to Putin, and his priority is trade. Mm-hmm. He talks about trade the whole time with China. He talks about trade. He puts the tariffs up, he puts the tariff down. So what Europe has to do? Europe, unfortunately, for many years, Europe has not adopted a very active free zone policy. And free zone policy has evolved a lot, from industrial parks to free zones to service parks. And now innovation is something very important, and the possibility to incubate talent in the free zone is extremely important. And you can see that happening in the UAE. You can see that happening in Saudi Arabia. You can see that happening in many, many places. China, among others. Asia, Philippines. So Europe has to be more aggressive. We need to be more aggressive. We need to have better regulations. We need to have better planning. We need to adopt the best practices. We need to make our free zones extremely competitive because the talent of Europe is leaving. It's leaving to the US, it's leaving to the Middle East. Because why? They have better salaries, because it's more competitive. They have also the big companies are there. So Europe has right now the mandate and has the obligation to become way more competitive. And that's going to be a coordination between the local governments, the national governments, the EU. We need to show competitiveness. We need to make our free zones the backbone of our industrial and service platform. And for that, we need to hear the experts, hear the advisors, and adopt the policies. And this has to happen fast. Yes, the fastest we do it, the more competitive we'll be, because the world is moving, and it's moving very fast. Just to throw a number, last week President Trump was in the Middle East. He closed deals for $600 billion, billion with a B, yes, in just 5-day trip. How can we compete with a region that is so wealthy? We have talent in Europe. We have infrastructure in Europe. We have universities in Europe. We have a rule of law in Europe that probably doesn't exist anywhere else at that level. Why don't we use this with great and effective free zones to attract investment? This is our mandate.
Oh, thank you so much. So what we see what happened in area. If we move to the Central Asia, as Erbol explained us, to the India, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, etc., they just adopted the legislation. They're slowly, but gaining the game. They are working. So in Europe, you're suggesting to make more aggressive things and to go there. But we are now in one of the beautifulest places in the Balkanian countries. We are in Bosnia and Herzegovina, and we need to have this knowledge and adopt all that knowledge special for development for Balkanian countries, focusing on Bosnia and Herzegovina. Alexander, from your experience, what first two things that we need to start to work here?
In Bosnia and Herzegovina, okay. We have very modern law related to free zones, but we need to think maybe this free zone model is already old.
Okay.
We need to think how to catch up special economic zone development, like Yerbal said, in Eastern Asia. China developing special economic zone, Russia developing, India developing. This is biggest economies in the world. So we need to follow them samples. For now, law that we have in Bosnia and Herzegovina, two laws in Federation, laws in Republika Srpska are good, and we need to change some rules about applying VAT, to release VAT on electricity, to allow trade inside the free zone. But this is already existing in Serbia that have very similar law, and it's not so complicated, or I don't know, will be easy to implement that samples from Serbia in the Republic of Srpska and Federation. And also we need to make some, like Dragan say on the last slide, some master plan for developing a free zone, establishing and developing free zone, and some strategy to decide in which regions, in which city, in which economy parts, and what industry we wish to support. And I think that will be done in a couple months from now. And I wish to highlight that total procedure for establishing of first free zone in Republika Srpska, we passed together with the city of Gradiška, and we had many problems, and we successfully passed all the problems that we defined on that way. With us here is Darko Vrhovec, maybe wish to share with us his experience about establishing free zone in that region in a couple of words.
Oh, great. Don't you mind if we will invite you just for a couple of...
Okay, okay. At the end, Darko will share with us
okay.
his experience about establishing
the
zone.
End. Okay, so then you promise me at the end you will have, you will share what's going on and what troubles you had, what challenges you had, and how you switch your challenges to the opportunities. Okay, then I am government of Bosnia and Herzegovina. What I need in this region to survive, what I need to understand how free zones and industrial zones are operating, to adapt them to my local legislation. In the meantime, invite international experts to make due diligence, to develop my strategy, to make feasibility study of the existing one. Maybe you will suggest to close one, to open 3 ones. But what is then? How can I promote my free zone that they're unique in the region? How I can work and to show that investor, I am here and I am your best place for location. Please, Andrea, can you share with us, is there any tools, any certification, any mutual agreements that can promote the free zones?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Nika. I will say 2 points. The first one is, in the company I work at Araujo in Colombia, we have helped 20 governments in upgrading the law of free trade zones. Last year we worked, only last year, with Peru, Curacao, and Jamaica. And the governments are very compromised in making these changes. Then they will reflect into the free trade zone sector. The second point that I will say is that there is one big thing that is happening right now with the World Trade Center organization. Mm-hmm. The World Trade Center organization is an organization, a non-profit organization based in New York. It was born 50 years ago. We are interconnecting the ecosystem of World Trade Centers. There are 320 World Trade Centers in the world. There are 10 World Trade Center free trade zones. One of them is in Dubai. They just approved a $2.5 billion investment in their expansion in Dubai. And we're interconnecting these 2 ecosystems, the ecosystem of World Trade Centers and the ecosystem of free trade zones. So to gain access to the most exclusive network of real estate, it will be a very interesting thing to understand. And I would be more than happy for anyone to want to know more about the World Trade Center free trade zone.
Oh, great, thank you. So is this certification process is painful?
It's not painful. Is something that will get you in the map of the 320 World Trade Centers in the world. 100 countries will have 320 embassies right away in the world. And right now the world is about connections, right? Everywhere. So you can, if you don't have, you can have the best strategy, you don't have the connections, you're not going to able to deliver as fast as you want in sales in your free trade zone. So it's a very intelligent business move in order to have this recognition.
Okay, thank you. Erbol, I have a question to you. Since you are operating in the very difficult region, and there are many countries that have very well developed free zones, and also they are establishing new ones. What is Free Zone 5.0? What is the future of free zones?
Future of free zones in Central Asia, you mean, eh?
Yes, in Central Asia.
Alexander said that in Bosnia and Herzegovina, all free zone, special economic zones, is old, and it's good for us, and good for also Bosnia and Herzegovina, because they have a huge experience. They know how to realize invest projects, might be realize might be use all new trends. So Jorge said that we must compete, and we must be more aggressive. I recommend choose another strategies, because Nowadays, we can collaborate with European and Asian countries because, as we know about Great Silk Road, and through the Silk Road, developed all the countries, all the cities through the Silk Roads. So in that period of time, the strategy was, and this initiative, like Silk Road, was one of the ideal examples. And nowadays, we are becoming this type of trading, this type of doing business, like this.
Thank you, thank you. And Jorge, we were talking about the developing free zones in European Union, that they need to change the legislation to move fast, but also in the same time we have this sustainability ESG agenda there. What do you think about this agenda?
Well,
ESG, you mean, eh?
Mm-hmm. I have two opinions on ESG. I think it's something that you cannot ignore. That's one valid opinion. I think that it's something that is here, that is going to last. We cannot talk about free zones without ESG. I think ESG is a policy that is being implemented, that definitely, like Andres mentioned before, the community, the free zones have to be back to the community. We need to build that social responsibility, and that is important because the concept of free zone is to develop. The idea of the free zone is to develop areas. So it's not only what you develop inside the free zone, but how that generates wealth and well-being on the society. But my other personal point of view is that we need to make ESG compatible with competitiveness. It is very important that what's happening right now in the EU, that we are trying to reindustrialize the region, that we are trying to build in to be less dependent from other factors and other macro powers. We need to make those ESG more compatible with what we want to reach. If we want to have a good policy in order to bring investments, consolidate investment, to make business, we need to make the ESG understand this policy and implement the right ESG in order to also promote your business, promote your free zones, attract the business, generate business, and incubate business. This is very important. But that's my observation.
So you are suggesting to move from ESG to ESGG, like a good governance, and then all the rest. Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. And Alexander, and if we'll try to summarize, what is free zone that can operate in this area in Western Balkanian countries? What are the main pillars that we need to build our free zone? This is innovation, this is SME development, this is mutual contract, this is working with tenants. What are the main pillars that we need to focus and to develop our strategy?
All of this. All of this. But mainly, we wish to use free zones as tools for attract investment.
Okay.
So in that aim, we need to innovate policies and regulation.
Okay, so first of thing,
policy and
we
regulation.
We go above. This is governmental strategy,
yes,
with the laws and policies and regulations. Okay, second.
After finishing with policies, to make strategies, to know what we will do in future steps.
Okay.
And to try to be modern, to try to use change of tariffs, unpredictable change of tariffs, and from offshoring to pass to nearshoring or friendshoring, like targets for attracting investment.
Okay, so you mean that no anymore intensive is interesting for the investor. They are looking for something else and something else.
New.
Something else.
Something new.
Oh, it's very new way of thinking. Thank you for that. Yes, Jorge, you want to add?
I would like to add something. I think people are expecting quick results. Investors are looking for quick results. Where the world is changing so much in the last months, I will say, that yes, there is a long-term objective, and we have to look for those long-term objectives, but investors are looking for short-term returns. And this is, like Alexander was mentioning, absolutely fundamental to have that concept in the free zone so they can facilitate the business. It's not that the free zone is there and is there. They have to make partnerships, make business together, help their tenants do business together, go abroad, travel, find the tenants, find the clients, help your supply chain, get competitive certifications like Andres was mentioning with the World Trade Center. This is the thing that gives you the relevance. It's not publishing a law and that's it, and we have a free zone. Like Dragan was mentioned, there are so many free zones, and you mentioned Nika. So many free zones are being created and then they're closing down. So
and all of them waiting investors.
All of them, everywhere in the world, and they're looking for human capacity, taxes, connectivity, logistics. They're all looking for the same. So you have to act quick and make the investor decision easy. That is very important.
Okay, dear panelists, you didn't tell me nothing more. I am a manager of Free Zone. I understand that I can read that, I can invite good experts for that. What can I do? How to move forward? What is the first step that I need to do? Andrea, please, can you help me?
That's a good question. I will give you an example regarding the SDG that we were talking before. In Zona Franca Pacifico, that is in Colombia, we promote that zone as well, we saw the opportunity to sell energy. So we created a solar park, and that now something that was, from an SDG perspective, something important, we created as a business. So regarding to your question is, where are the opportunities and how can we capitalize on those opportunities? So each manager has to see their context, their geopolitical context, the economical context. What is the advantage of that free trade zone in that place? And as Mr. Sinovic saying, he has to create a very streamlined strategy in order to be able to succeed.
Oh, thank you. Erbal, then I have a question to you. There are many investors from China are looking for allocate their money to other countries nearby, and I know that you are cooperating with Chinese investors and in the meantime traveling a lot to attract more investors to the countries, to Kazakhstan, to Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, etc. What you see, what they are looking for and why they want to invest in Central Asia but not come to Europe?
First of all, I think it's geopolitical situation. Second, it's Chinese China is our border, and other reasons. It's about high-level investors in China. They are focused on about ESG regarding regarding the people who will with whom they will work. It's human. It's a main reason why investor will invest in your country. So of course nowadays, just for tax or other types of benefits, it's not a main reason to invest in special economic zones or free trade zones. Nowadays, it's ecosystems more important than the tax or other beneficials. So in Central Asia, we have realized that for investors, the main attraction is not just, as I said, the tax incentives, but above all, the comfortable and developed ecosystem. Thus, we focus on a human capital development, creating specialized we created a specialized program to train investment officers, expert specialists, and certification experts. So on May 15, 2025, we successfully held another Silk Road investment fair at the Khargos International Center cross-border cooperation, presenting over 100 investment projects from Kazakhstan and China and also Iran. So this event has become more than just an exhibition. It's now continuously operating investment platforms. So also, I would like to say about relations between Kazakhstan and China, and not just for 1-2 days. It's built 1, 3, 4 years. Why our Silk Road investment fair was successful? Because we know the Chinese main investors, and we do some little projects. And then nowadays our recommendations is for Chinese investors more important than other initiatives. I think it's my opinion. Also, you know, our president Kassym-Jomart Tokayev is in good relations with China. Xi Jinping might be. This is of course the main goals why the Chinese government invest in Kazakhstan. Also, as we know, the U.S. new tariff systems, it's destroyed relationships between China and America. So I think also other reasons why China focused on Central Asia, it's this reason, like this.
Thank you very much. Yes, Andrea wanted to add something.
Yes, I would say that it's important to look at the trends. Two trends that are very interesting is AI. That means data centers. In Bogota, we're developing cloud free trade zone that is going to be the biggest park dedicated only for data centers. Of course, that has many interesting things related to energy, because they need a lot of energy. A regular data center consumes the 100,000 equivalent of homes of the energy that homes consume in a year. But that's an interesting trend. And the other one is hydrogen. Mm-hmm. In free trade zone channel of Suez, in the last years, they have invested around $100 billion, mostly in hydrogen. So as well, I think those two trends are going to be very important for free trade zones, because they can lower the costs of the capex, of the investments of those endeavors.
So if we move to Central Asia, we see that there are cross-border free economic zone and free trade zone are more developing. If we move to Latin America, we see that clusteral free zones are developing now. That's because you said Ural solar free economic zone, cloud free economic zone. So I can see this moment. It is very good that they are changing the strategy. Not much time left for our panel. I understand that it's very interesting discussion, so I would ask to our panelists for the last message delivered to our audience. Erbil, let's start with you. What is your final conclusion from our panel?
So, first of all, 21st century Silk Road is not just trade road, but pathway for ideas, technologies, as one of our speakers mentioned it, technologies, mutual trust, and effective partnerships, much more important. I sincerely hope that this forum marks the beginning for successful projects that will transform the economic map of Eurasia, uniting Europe and Asia into a new integrated economic space. And I would like to invite the partners or business from Bosnia and Herzegovina to our initiative Silk Road Investment Forum, investment fair, where business from West Balkan can present their projects, their ideas, might be their product, which produce it in special economic zones in Bosnia and Herzegovina, they can show in our showrooms in Kazakhstan, Khargos, and Hainan, China, and also Tsingtao in China. So I invite all Bosnian and Herzegovinian investors. As I mentioned, relations is much better, much important than everything. At the 2023 Astana Economic Forum in Kazakhstan, we had a distinct privilege of welcoming Her Excellency Zelika Svijanovic, chairwoman of the presidency of Bosnia and Herzegovina. As an esteemed speaker, her speech vividly demonstrated that Central Asia and Bosnia and Herzegovina are united not only by shared economic and political interest, but also by genuine human warmth and friendship. So in this case, I invite Bosnia and Herzegovina business to make collaborations together with Silk Road Investment Fair and do business together.
Thank you, Erbol. So if I will conclude the message that you said, that in any case, politics makes economics, and the relationship and networking makes business together. In order to do that, you are suggesting to be more proactive, to travel a lot, to visit different exhibitions, not dedicated to the free zone, but where you can find tenant for your free zones. And in the meantime, look how investors can have their own special economic zone in Bosnia. For example, like we have China free economic zone, for example, in Belarus. The same will happen in Kyrgyzstan, to have other country free zone within the framework of that country. It's very interesting. Thank you very much. Please, Andrea, what is your final conclusion?
Thank you. Yes, I come from Colombia, so we are a developing country. We know about war, we know about difficult moments in the economy, but we also know that free trade zones have created a fast track for development. So right now we are 150 free trade zones, and despite all the difficulties that our country has, it has been a powerful tool for creating prosperity and economic opportunities and attract foreign direct investments. So I will say that it's definitely a tool that we need to put emphasis and to put energy into it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. If I would conclude your final message, you mean that the development of regions never stop? Even now we are thinking about the strategy that we are going to do for the next 5-10 years. In the meantime, we need to think above and start working on that from yesterday. Thank you. Jorge?
Well, I think there are some elements taking into consideration what Erbol and Andres mentioned, and also what Alexander said. First of all, I think we need to review our laws, and we need to review our internal procedures in customs, in everything, because we need to really be competitive. And we need to listen to the experts. Here in Bosnia, you are very lucky. You have Dr. Dragan Kostic and you have Alexander, that are one of the most respected authorities in the world regarding free zones. So you have to listen to the experts and make your law competitive. If you don't have a good law and you don't implement a good law, even if you have the strategic position, even if you have the talent, even if you have everything, nothing is going to be developed properly. So that is one thing. Secondly, cooperation and internationalization. You have to go and look for the opportunities outside. The opportunities are not going to come and land here by themselves. That moment in time has passed. That was the lovely 90s, the beginning of 2000s. Today you have to go and engage. There is multiple events of investment. We are right now currently, for example, working on a project advising the government of Angola for an FDI forum, which will take place in the month of November. I'm inviting here everybody if they want to come and see other opportunities, see what's happening in Africa, how can you coordinate that market and help it to produce better, to connect those industries. There's a lot of opportunities in this region. So go outside, first the laws, then the international part and cooperation, and ultimately, I think, to look for a strategic partnership with your companies. That is the key of success, because if they grow, you grow. As simple as that. Okay. What Andres mentioned of what Colombia is doing is basing their strategy of growth on the free zones, and this is something that needs to be happening here. I've been here 3 days. This is my first time in Bosnia. I see a lot of talent. I see that you are very close to Europe, you're very close to the Mediterranean, you're very close to Turkey, you have a very unique position here, you have human resources, you have some industry, you have some tourism, so there is a lot of things to do here. Take chance and push these opportunities and use the free zones to develop. It's very sad when you see countries that they lose the talent. Retain your talent through a proper free zone. Create jobs. That everybody likes to create jobs, but create quality jobs. So that's my final message for you, and thank you for inviting us here.
Thank you, Jorge, and final word to Alexander. Alexander, so there are several things that we said, but also we haven't time to talk about that. Is there anything that you want to add? We were discussing previously for this beautiful country. For example, we discussed that in order to make this country to have a good free economic zones, we need to have a strategy. And during this strategy, we need to focus on developing of the country, economy or free zones. And these are the totally different things and the way of behavior. Please.
Okay, we don't have actually universal model of free zones. Mm-hmm. Any model of free zones can be adjusted to local economy. Also, Dragan like to say that we don't. The free zone is not a magic wand, mm-hmm. So cannot do it in one day or one wish. You need to work on that. You need always be active. You need to learn from someone who is better from you, to steal knowledge, to steal experience, and to implement into your economy. So free zones are tool that can be used in regional development. Okay. When you make strategy where to establish free zone, in which sectors to establish free zone, you decide which region of your country you will develop more. Mm-hmm. Because free zone always result with better and faster development comparing to other part of local economy or state. So a lot of work, but we start here, and I think in a couple of years we will have good result.
Okay, thank you so much. So what I've seen from my point of view, and now I am not moderator but panelist as well, from my point of view there are several types of free zones and economic zones that can be developed in this area. First thing that which is know-how in developing just now in the world is touristical free economic zones. It will be much more easier for you to attract investor if you will set up to the touristical free zone. The second thing, you have very good location, and you can use cross-border free zones as was presented by the speakers as well. And the third thing, if you have human resources, and in order to expand this tenant in the free zones, not only in Bosnia, but the neighbor countries as well, you need to establish universities or colleges next to free zone to prepare this workforce, specially dedicated to that knowledge that you are going to provide in that free zone. But this is about the strategies. This is just idea. This is about the strategy, and we need to work closer on our strategy. So as a conclusion, first thing is review the whole strategy of the country. Second thing, under that strategy, to renew all the legislation, regulations, and local acts that we need for that. The third thing is to have separate due diligence and feasibility study for the region to understand which kind of free zones we can develop in different regions, and then have master plan of industrial zones in country at all, and piloting some of them. You were mentioning, and you promised me that you will have sharing experience how it works in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Please, the stage is yours. I can give you the microphone. I kept my promise and now it's your turn.
Thank you.
Može. Da li se čujemo? Čujemo. Ništa, dobar dan svima. Evo ja ću u kratkim crtama pokušati malo iskustvo lokalne zajednice u uspostavljanju slobodne zone Gradiška. Ja ću se prvo osvrnuti, ako mogu samo kratko, minut ili dva, vezano za panel diskusiju koja je bila. Slažem se sa svim, potpisujem sve što je gospodin Diaz rekao. Ne znam da li me čuje, da li je krenuo prevod. Iz razloga tog što zaista moramo da budemo brži. Mi ovdje u Bosni i Hercegovini posebno, na Zapadnom Balkanu, a čak i Europska unija, i čuli smo kako ide Europska unija, kojim putem idu Sjedinjene Američke Države, Kina i tako dalje. Dakle, zaista zaostajemo. Zaostajemo iz razloga što je Europska unija prije svega počeo na različitoj filozofiji i poslovanja i života u odnosu na Sjedinjene Američke Države. Rekli ste i sami, tamo je filozofija profit. Ovdje je filozofija i zaštita životne sredine i socijalna kohezija i tako dalje u Europskoj uniji. Moramo na neki način pomiriti te činjenice. Kada to pomirimo i kada na neki način uskladimo, onda ćemo postati konkurentni i onda ćemo moći da se takmičimo. Imamo znanje, imamo iskustvo, imamo tradiciju, imamo sve. Jednostavno moramo politike da mijenjamo i da se uskladimo prije svega sa najrazvijenijim i najbrže rastućim ekonomijama u cijelom svijetu. Kad je u pitanju Republika Srpska i Bosna i Hercegovina, mi smo tek, kao što ste rekli, pomirisali kafu, jel? Krenuli smo u taj proces. Grad Gradiška je krenuo u proces osnivanja slobodne zone zato što postoje pretpostavke u tom gradu za osnivanje slobodne zone. Dakle, postoji razvijena privreda, prerađivačka industrija prije svega, industrija okrenuta izvozu. Nalazimo se na takvom položaju na samoj granici sa Europskom unijom, 56 km granice Europske unije sa Republikom Hrvatskom i mi smo izvozno orijentisana jedinica lokalne samouprave. Dakle, 100% je pokrivenost uvoza izvozom gotovo svake godine kada je u pitanju grad. Imamo veliku zaposlenost u oblasti prerađivačke industrije, dakle metaloprerada, drvoprerada, tekstilna industrija. Raste nam IT industrija i vidjeli smo da zaista sad moramo da napravimo jedan iskorak. Zakoni su tu koji nam mogu pomoći da napravimo slobodnu zonu. Rekli su ovdje kolege, ja se zahvaljujem kolegama iz Pirota, gospodinu Kostiću, jer smo preko njega u stvari uspjeli da dođemo do ideje za slobodnu zonu. Nakon toga zahvaljujem se i Ministarstvu privrede i preduzetništva u Vladi Republike Srpske, Savjetu ministara, prije svega gospodinu Košarcu, koji su nam pomogli da sve te dozvole dobijemo. Mi smo dozvole dobili, sad je sve na nama. Da ispromovišemo tu zonu, da privučemo najbolje investitore u tu zonu. A vidjeli smo i sami kroz diskusije da nekako investitori, da kažem, traže neko novo utočište van Evropske unije. Da li to zahvaljujući konkurentnosti koju ne mogu da ostvare u zemljama Europske unije, rastućim cijenama u Europskoj uniji, energentima koji su sada problematični u Europskoj uniji, i oni žele, veliki broj kompanija se obraća nama u gradu Gradiška i želi da iseli svoje kompanije iz Europske unije, ali da posluje negdje uz granicu sa Europskom unijom. A mi smo im tu, da kažemo tako, Bogom dani. Zato što smo tu na granici samoj sa Europskom unijom. U Gradišci se nalazi najveći granični prelaz za robe sa Europskom unijom. Dakle, imamo sve pretpostavke za osnivanje takve zone. Ono što je bila ključna pretpostavka jeste postojanje prostora. Dakle, zona se prostire na 320 hektara zemljišta i nalazi se na 2 lokaliteta, od kojih je jedna već naseljena. I svi privrednici koji su već postojali u toj zoni dali su svoju saglasnost da posluju unutar slobodne zone. Tako da firma koju ćemo osnovati sad u naredni korak da osnujemo firmu, ona ima razlog svog postojanja zato što već postoje kompanije koje posluju unutar te zone. Dakle, ali se izuzetno jako puno slažem sa gospodinom Dijazom koji je rekao mora se sve strateški postaviti. Nama treba strategija za ovo. Ne može svaka lokalna zajednica imati slobodnu zonu. Ne može, to mora da bude slobodna zona koja ima smisao, koja ima razlog postojanja, a ne mogu sve lokalne zajednice imati, onda nemaju sve ni u Europskoj uniji. Jednostavno moraju postojati one koji po prirodi stvari trebaju da imaju slobodnu zonu. Zbog toga nam treba strategija, da strateški posložimo oblasti, da strateški postavimo prioritete i na koji način ćemo osnivati zone unutar Bosne i Hercegovine. Ono što ja mogu reći da je zbog čega smo mi krenuli u taj proces, zato što imamo izuzetno razvijeno obrazovanje u gradu. Svaki privrednik koji nam dođe, ozbiljan privrednik, prvo želi da posjeti škole. Jer ozbiljan privrednik će uvijek razmišljati dugoročno, da ostane na ovom prostoru i on želi da vidi kakav je potencijal kad su u pitanju mladi ljudi, budući kadrovi. Zaista, mi imamo najbolji obrazovni sistem, ja ću se usuditi reći, u Bosni i Hercegovini, u gradu Gradiška. Pratimo potrebe privrede, usklađujemo ga i što kaže gospodin Dijaz, brzo, reagujemo brzo. Kad nam se javi ozbiljna kompanija koja ima ozbiljan interes za grad Gradišku, koja ima ozbiljan interes da posluje na teritoriji, koja će donijeti nove tehnologije, koja će dati veće plate, gdje ćemo mi podići životni standard naših zaposlenih radnika, mi ćemo mu izaći u susret vrlo brzo i uskladiti plan i program upisa u naše škole tako što ćemo obezbijeti kadrove za njegovo poslovanje. Vrlo brzo. Ta proaktivnost je prepoznata kod mnogih privrednika i mnoge svjetske i prije svega evropske kompanije iz Italije, Austrije, Njemačke, Slovenije su došle na prostore grada Gradiška. Došle su i prije slobodne zone, a sad kad su čuli da će svi oni koji se nalaze u toj jednoj oblasti koju obuhvata slobodna zona poslovati u režimu slobodne zone, onda su još više zainteresovani čak i da šire svoje poslovanje. Nama u Bosni i Hercegovini i nama ovdje u Gradišci je jako, jako bitno podizanje konkurentnosti. Evropska unija ima problem sa konkurentnosti, a mi u Bosni i Hercegovini ne govorim. Negdje sam računao da je konkurentnost u Evropskoj uniji veća od Bosne i Hercegovine, odnosno od nas u gradu Gradiška duplo. Produktivnost radnika je veća za duplo. Dakle, naš radnik koji ode odavde radi u Njemačkoj produktivniji je duplo u odnosu na radnika istog tog koji je radio ovdje prije nego što je otišao u Njemačku. Iz razloga tehnološkog napretka. U Njemačkoj ima tehnologije, ima istraživanje i razvoj, ulaganje u istraživanje i razvoj, ovdje to nema. To moramo da podižemo na jedan viši nivo, a to možemo da podižemo samo ako nam dođu ozbiljne kompanije iz Evropske unije prije svega, onda iz ostatka svijeta, da podižemo konkurentnost, podižemo životni standard građana, zaposlenih radnika i onda da podižemo konkurentnost domaće privrede, samim tim izvozom u Evropsku uniju podizat ćemo i konkurentnost i vašeg izvoza za dalje, ako mi radimo neke poluproizvode ili neke, ajde da kažemo, izvinjavam se, samo 10 sekundi. Tako da kažem, moraju postojati preduslovi i pretpostavke za osnivanje slobodne zone. Mi smo to uradili, vidjeli smo, zahvaljujem se još jednom profesoru Kostiću koji nam je otvorio oči. Ono što u Bosni i Hercegovini moramo raditi još jeste da jačamo svijest domaćih privrednika šta to slobodna zona znači. Ovdje još ne postoji dovoljno jaka svijest o tome koje benefite ima neko ko posluje u slobodnoj zoni, a recimo posluje cjelokupni izvoz, cjelokupno poslovanje mu je okrenuto ka izvozu. Hvala vam lijepo.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So indeed, if we look at the free zones that operate in the world, the most successful of them are private-public partnership. When they are just public, then they are only thinking about making money. When they are just private, they are thinking only about how to make PR. When there is a public-private partnership, you see how it's growing well, and this is one of the examples. Thank you very much. Thank you for the presentation. Thank you, panelists. Dragan Kostić, thank you very much. Erbal, thanks that you had the opportunity to join us online and you were with us with your very interesting inputs. Andrea, Jorge, and Alexander, you were perfect. You are my best expert in the world, and I love you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye.